A group of archaeologists were scanning the grave of William Shakespeare. They said they made a strange discovery. They basically realized that his head is missing. Whoops. Researchers used ground-penetrating radar to explore Shakespeare's tomb, which is in Stratford-upon-Avon's Holy Trinity Church. The Stratford University archaeologist, his name's Kevin Cole, the man behind me, he led the study. He basically said that they found an odd disturbance at the head end of the tomb with evidence of repairs sometime after the original burial. So basically what he's saying, at some point after he was buried, somebody went in and took his head. Called the police, Shakespeare's head's missing.
Well, that's if this is indeed Shakespeare's grave, because his name is not on the grave. For whatever reason, maybe to avoid trophy hunting, his name was never put on the grave. So we still don't know to this day whether that's really him laying down there, whoever it is, without a head. But the big question is...
But it says Shakespeare right there in that picture.
It says Shakespeare there, but on the actual grave, yeah, that was new. But the big question is, if this really was grave robbing, trophy hunting, which presumably it could have been, where's the head now?
Exactly.
Who's got it?
Probably sitting in somebody's library. What better place, right? I mean, Hamlet, hello, right? Famous for its skull, but basically starred in Hamlet. So for that reason, I think, and that combined with Shakespeare being Shakespeare, right? I wouldn't put it past grave robbers to go in and take his head, of all things. I mean, that's
absolutely,
kind of still weird, but yeah, and actually this finding supports a claim that goes all the way back to like 1879. It was long dismissed as a myth that someone stole his head, but now that's why they were doing these scans. They're trying to figure out whether that is a myth or it's real. But then again, you're right. I mean, it still goes. It just still goes back to the point, is this actually his grave? So this could be somebody else whose head they took, maybe? It's
interesting there's this curse written on the grave, though, a poem written on the grave that speaks directly to grave robbing. So obviously this was something...
So maybe that shows that it is Shakespeare, right?
Possibly.
They're anticipating somebody messing with it.
Possibly, but obviously they were worried about this happening. Grave robbing is something that was happening a lot around that time. They bothered to put this curse, this poem, saying that, anyone will be cursed if they take the bones. And so, it leads one to believe that this is what happened. It's 400 years since he died, but this story, this myth about the head being missing, it's been circulating for about 250, but seemingly right.
Yeah, and then recently it was discovered, they were looking through some old remains where his house was believed to be, and they found some pipes with weed in them, and they were like, there was all these stories coming out saying Shakespeare smoked weed. So we're learning a lot about Shakespeare post-mortem. I think it's interesting to go back and kind of rebuild the character of who he was, or at least our version of it, because there's really no way of knowing. To go back to what she said about the tombstone, it's a short little poem thing, but at the end it says, "Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones." So basically telling grave robbers, nuh-uh, don't even try it. But that didn't work because now the person's head's missing. Whether it's Shakespeare or not, we won't know for a while.